Welcome back. Okay, so continuing in my educational series about the power and control wheel that I spoke about before. Here it is, here it is, here it is. Okay, so first off, just want to let you know, you can Google this. You can just Google power and control wheel and you'll find it easily. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see all of the little smaller, finer text like here on the inside. So I would recommend you do that after you watch this video so that you can get a full picture of each of the sections and how it might apply to you. So now, as you can see, this applies to physical and sexual violence, and it's important that you take this in, because oftentimes when stupid ass people are like, oh, well, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave? Yeah, I didn't leave because of this. Because all abusers have this in common. And I can confidently say all abusers have this in common, okay? After I ended up leaving him, I went back to school and I took a course in victimology. And this is where I learned of this power and control wheel from victimology. And this is something that has been studied and has been verified, that all abusive men and women do these things, okay? So when people say to you, why didn't you leave? Tell them to shut the F up, because we're not weak people. We were being manipulated. So let me go through this so that we all have a better understanding of why women stay, okay? So let's start at the top with coercion and threats, okay? I'm gonna give you examples because, like I said, I'm not gonna go through all the little pieces on the inside. I'll give you examples, it may resonate with you, of how each section has played out in my life, okay? So the first one is coercion and threats. My ex used to tell me that he would kill himself if I left. In the very beginning, I want to say within the first 2 or 3 years of our relationship, 2 years of our relationship, that was a common theme for him when we would argue and I would get upset and say that I can't do this. He would say, oh, he's gonna kill himself. The next one is using intimidation. So for me personally, it was when I had given you the examples before of him taking my stuff, right? So they want to make you feel like you have no control over your own life and over the things that's going on to you. So they try to intimidate you to keep you stuck. So what he would do is, if I had something, he would take it. At one point in the relationship, we only had one vehicle. We were sharing a car. So he would take the car keys so that I wouldn't have access to the car. The third one is using emotional abuse. So, they say things to put you down and belittle you and make you feel small. He would say things to me like I'm stupid, or a big one for him is when I would say that I was gonna leave or I wouldn't want to be with him anymore. It was, oh, no man I go take up no woman with Fort Pitney, no man I go want you. Really, I'm happy to report, bitch ass, that wasn't true. Anyways, using isolation is the next one. So the example that I gave you of Thanksgiving, where he wouldn't want my sister, he didn't want my sister to come over and be with us for Thanksgiving. He really wouldn't. Sometimes if I was saying I wanted to go out with certain friends, he wouldn't want me to go out with my friends. It's because they're able to control you better if you're by yourself. Minimizing, denying, and blaming, that would have been a perfect example of Christmas time, when after he acted a fool and we were having the conversation about it afterwards, he was acting like it wasn't a big deal and he shouldn't have acted that way, but let's move forward. And also, in various arguments, everything would always be my fault. He would always find a way to turn back the issues that we had and make it seem like if he acted like an ass, it was because I did something to make him act that way. Using the children, that was also something he would do, where he would say stuff like, oh, if you leave me and if you take me to court and I get visitation with the kids, I'm gonna take them, I'm gonna leave them, and we're gonna fly out the country and we're gonna go to where my mom is and you're never gonna see them again. Yeah, because God's not real. Oh, and he would also say to me that if I call the police, because over here we have what's called Children's Aid Services, and whenever domestic violence gets involved, Children's Aid gets involved, and not necessarily to take your kids, but just to make sure that there's at least one parent who knows how to parent. And so when I had called the police when he strangled me, they got involved, and then subsequently after that, he would threaten me and say, oh, you can't call the police because if you call the police, I'm gonna make sure Children's Aid takes your kids. Yeah, okay. And then using male privilege. So it's like this, I didn't really have too many examples of this one for him. I'll be totally honest with you. It's where they try to act like, they're the man and you're the woman, so you're supposed to do what they say and you have to be the slave and cook and clean and da-da-da. Although he didn't clean very often or as much as I did, I will give him this. He was the cook. He was the one that primarily made food in the home. So didn't really experience it that much. But the only thing I guess I could think of in that instance was him always wanting to tell me to do with my money, always trying to tell me what to do with my money. Like for instance, with the life insurance story I told you guys about. And then finally, economic abuse, which was a huge thing in our relationship because he was a liar and he would keep his money a secret. I remember when we were together, I would often wonder, how come he never has any money? When he left, comes to find out that his car payment was double the amount that he was telling me, which would make perfect sense of why he never had any money. So please keep in mind that when a woman is experiencing this entire situation, it makes her feel less than, it makes her feel crazy, and it also makes her feel guilty because it makes her feel like she also has some blame in this behavior. Okay? So I hope that we have learned something. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And remember, God did not put you here to be beat on by no stupid fool.